me flip this. You don't need to see my ceiling. And let me kind of fix this because it looks a little off. Just bear with me here for a second. Just want to make sure everything looks good, that we're at a right distance and all that. So hello everybody, this is Carla and welcome back to the studio and welcome back to another episode of Throwback Thursday. So for this Thursday, we're going to do a little bit of crafting for St. Patrick's Day. So in the past, I have done an actual video for the holidays, and I decided, to kind of ease up some of the workload that I do between my regular full-time job and doing all the video content. I decided that, okay, I was going to eliminate the actual holiday videos, and then I was just going to take like the holiday theme stuff and work it into whether it was a Throwback Thursday or a Friday Night Live. Now, we don't have anything that's St. Patrick's Day related in any of our current catalogs, so I'm going to do a Throwback Thursday. Now, I did use this particular stamp set when I did the holiday video for St. Patrick's Day last year, but I didn't do an actual whole video for it. Now this is the Lucky Clover. This was part of a bundle. There was a Clover punch that bundled with it. Unfortunately, when this came out, this was in the 2023 January. I think it was either April or to June. I can't remember how long that catalog went for. This was in that catalog. And so St. Patrick's Day being in March, the Clover actually sold out in January, and there was just no way that they were going to get more of those punches back in stock before that mini catalog was finished. So yeah, so I didn't get the punch, but again, the stamps, they work fine. Now the punch only punched out this particular Clover right here. So this, I have created with this before, and I had fussy cut that out, so it's not too bad. But but yeah, so I only have the stamp set here, and it's got a little schmutz on it that I gotta clean that off. But this is what we're going to use, and I'm also going to be bringing in a couple of other like another stamp set and some dies and even some designer series paper for these cards. So let me pull out the stuff for our first card, and we'll get started. So for my card base, this is So Saffron. This is a currently, it's a retired color. This measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. And I may need to bring this up a little bit. In my phone, the screen in my phone, it looks perfectly clear, but for some reason, I'm looking at it on my laptop and it just looks very pixelated. So if it's looking like that, I apologize. I kind of hope that this is going to clear itself out so we don't have like all these issues. My Wi-Fi, I got good signal on it, so I'm hoping that this is going to be clear for you. Okay, so back to the card. So Saffron, this measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. I do have some of this designer series paper. Let me show you which this is. This was part, I don't know if this was the celebration the very same year. I just know that when this pack of paper was available, and I remember it was celebration, that I got a few packs of this paper because I thought it was so cute. This is the Sunshine and Rainbows 6x6 designer series paper. The colors that are in here: Bermuda Bay, Flirty Flamingo, Granny Apple Green, Magenta Madness, Mango Melody, which was pretty awesome, yellowy orange type of color that retired, Misty Moonlight, Petal Pink, Pool Party, Soft Sea Foam, and So Saffron. So lots of fun little patterns here that have some clouds and rainbows and just a lot of fun designs in this pack of paper. Really fun paper. So this piece here, so this is the same pattern. So I just cut this off from, well, from here or from there, but it's the back side of the paper. So this piece of the designer series paper measures 5 3/8 by 2 1/4, and then this piece, which is the reverse side, is 5 3/8 by 1/2 inch. And then I have a scrap of basic white we are going to stamp, and then use our 2 3/8 inch circle punch to punch out our clover. Again, this, I don't have the clover punch, and I really don't feel like fussy cutting, so we're gonna go that route with it. So I'm gonna stamp that on there and then punch it out. And then ahead of time, I had stamped the Happy St. Patrick's Day in Granny Apple Green, and then I had used the rectangle stitched set of dies. This is the size die that I had used to do that. Now, usually I would do my die cutting ahead of time and then I would stamp on it, but this stamp set is a red rubber stamp set, so it's not like our photopolymer where you can see through it. So I wanted to make sure that I had stamped that straight. So I'm going to pull out the clover here, and let me get a block and put that on there. And then I'm going to pull in, let's see, well, we want our So Saffron ink, and I'm also going to bring in Granny Apple Green. All right, so let me take this piece right here and get my Granny Apple Green ink. This is really pixelated really bad. You know what, guys, hold on one second. Let me, I know somebody's probably going to yell at me that this is open. Let me go do something really, really quick here, and maybe it'll help out. Okay, I have my other computer on, and maybe that'll help with the pixelating. Okay, because that, I know seeing a blurry video is just, I don't like when it does that, because it makes it hard to really see what's being done. Okay, so for this clover, I'm going to ink this up, and hopefully I get this placed in the center of this cardstock so it's big enough to punch it evenly around it. Okay, and do that. Okay, I'm gonna close that up, and let's get our punch. Now this punch is currently available. I believe it is in with the online exclusives. So at the time of me recording this, this is March 13th. So it's still available. Okay, so there we go. We got that. And we'll put that aside. And let's take these pieces and put them aside. I'm going to take my card base and I'm going to fold and burnish this. And then there is another stamp in here that has this cluster of these little clovers in it. I'm going to pull that out. And let's get a block. That'll be big enough for this. Looks okay. And then I'm going to bring in my Saffron ink. And I'm going to put a piece of scrap paper right underneath this. Let's see. Let's find ourselves a clean piece. Okay, so for this, what I want to do is I want to randomly stamp these little clovers up on the top part of my card, because this designer series paper right here is going to go down towards the bottom. So I just want those clovers kind of like in this area. So I'm going to start off, and I'm just going to kind of randomly stamp these. And then some of these big open areas, I'll go back and I'll fill those in. But I do want to come down low enough to where it does go down underneath this paper right here. So I want to come down a little bit just so that way it kind of fills it all in. And just add a couple more in some of these spots just to fill it in. Let's see. Let's see. We'll put a couple right up in this corner. And I think I think that'll be good, just like that. Don't want to put too many on there, then it just looks very cluttered. All right. So the paper, so the designer series paper, it doesn't go right to the edge, so there's just going to be this little tiny border of the card base that is showing. And we'll bring in my liquid glue. This is our Tombow multi-purpose glue. I just have it in one of these fine tip glue bottles. And then this will get centered right here. Again, it's just a really small border. So, and then for this piece, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some glue on the back, and then I'm going to place it right over this other designer series paper right up along this top edge. I'm not going to go up like this because then you don't see as much of that background on the card base. So I'm going to put this right over along the top edge. Make sure I got it lined up to where you're not seeing that white behind it. Okay, And then the greeting, I'm going to add some glue to the back of this. And we'll place this right up here. Make sure we got it straight. All right, and then on our punched out Clover, I'm going to bring in my dimensionals. So let me get a new sheet. So I'll add some on here. And I'll put one in the middle so that doesn't sag in the middle. Okay. And then we'll take this and we'll place this right over here. And then for, excuse me, for embellishment, I got two items here. So this is the Iridescent Rhinestone Basic Jewels. In this package, I got one of the larger ones, and then I got a whole lot of these smaller ones. So I'm going to use these smaller ones. Let's get my Take Your Pick tool. For some reason, my little, this one end likes to come out. The one end that has the spatula and the pokey end. For some reason, it doesn't want to stay. I mean, I lock it, but it loosens up and it comes out. All right, so let's take some of these. I'm going to add one to the center of this Clover. And we'll put, let's see, we'll put this one minus the hair right up here. And then we'll take another one and we'll put that down here. And then one more little bit of embellishment. This is the soft seafoam seam binding ribbon. This was now years ago, like when I first joined, Stampin' Up used to sell the seam. It was thinner than this. It wasn't as wide. This is 3/8 of an inch wide. The one that they sold was, maybe it was 1/4 of an inch, but this, I really like this ribbon because it's very thin. It ties really nicely. And they used to have it in a whole bunch of colors, and yeah, so I love when they come out with the seam binding ribbon. And I can't remember, I think this, I'm pretty sure that, yeah, this was actually in that same catalog, I believe. It's been a while, not too long, but it's been a while. And there's been so much product that's come out since then that it's hard to remember when exactly we had something. So I'm just going to make this little bow here. And then let's bring in my snips. And I'm going to trim these tails. Like so. And we'll put this all aside. And then let me get my glue dots. Now, if you want to add even more bling to this, you can always take your Wink of Stella and brush that on your Clover if you'd like. I kind of like the simplicity of this. And then I'm going to take this bow and I'm going to add this right here like so. So there is the first card. So let me kind of wind this up here. Put that in the box, kind of get it out of the way. So there is the first card. So the soft seafoam is actually right here in the paper. So that goes very well with it. So there's our first card. So St. Patrick's Day, rainbows and clovers. Okay, let me bring in the items for our second card. But what I want to do is I want to clean these two stamps really, really quick because I will be using, well, at least these little ones, I'll be using them again. Nothing's worse than when you're crafting, especially with white cardstock, and you have a stamp laying around that you didn't clean yet, and that cardstock touches that stamp, and next thing you know, you got all those smudges on there. That's never good. All right. So let's get the stuff for our second card. Now this card, I really, really like how this card came out. So this card kind of has a bit of a watercolor feel to it, but we're not watercoloring. But I really, really love how this comes out. I hope that you like it too. So for this card, I have a piece of garden green. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a 5 1/4 by 4-inch piece of Granny Apple Green. And I need to fix something on here because I see that I have this listed twice, but I'll fix that in a minute. So this is basic white. This measures 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And then I have a scrap of basic white. We're going to stamp our greeting on here, and then I'm actually going to die cut. Again, this stamp set, it's red rubber, so you can't exactly see through it, and I want to make sure that when I go to die cut it, that my greeting is actually centered in the middle of it. So I'm going to use this greeting right here where it says, a good friend is like a 4-leaf clover, hard to find and lucky to have. So let's pull that out. And then I'm also going to pull out this little clover right here. And then we're going to be using those little ones as well. Now, to make this have like that watercolor feel to it, another stamp set that I'm going to bring in is the Artistically inked, and we're going to use this large, I got like glue boogers on my cases. I don't know why, but got to get that off there. So I'm going to use this one. So this almost has the feel, other than watercolor, like when you use the alcohol inks, on how it just gives that effect to it. So we're going to use that on our piece of basic white. So the base, kind of like part of the layers of the card base. Okay, so for this as well, I'm going to bring in the Garden Green ink and the Granny Apple Green. Okay, and then I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to stamp my greeting. So let me get a block for that. Okay. Let me make sure this is clean. Looks like there's something stuck to it. Okay. And let me get a larger block for this one here. And then we'll get a smaller one for our little clover. Okay, so on this one, we're going to do our greeting. We're going to stamp that in Garden Green. So ink this up really well. And we'll stamp this right in the middle. And I'm going to avoid trying to rock it because there is ink on that outer edge and we just want the greeting. Okay, then I'm going to take one of my dies and I'm going to die cut this. So the die I'm going to use is out of the Nested Essentials die. So you have 3 different shapes and then there's 4 different sizes for each one. I am going to use this one right here. I want to be able to see the background on this one, so this is why I didn't want it to be too big. So this will fit just perfectly when I have it centered like so. So what I'm going to do is off to the side here, I have an electronic die cutter and I'm going to use that. So I'm cheating. I do have a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, but as you can see, there's not much room on this table here, and it does fill up very quickly with stuff. So I'm going to center that. Okay, let's put this on here. And I'll run it through. Okay, so there is our greeting piece. Okay, so then we're going to take our smaller clover here and we're going to stamp this on either side of our greeting. Make this up. Stamp one over there. And then we'll add another one right over on the other side as well. Okay, so let me leave that open. And let's get some of these things out of the way. I'm also going to open up my garden green ink. And we'll set this aside. And we'll take the basic white piece here. So I am going to stamp this background and I'm going to alternate between my garden green and my granny apple green inks. So I'm going to ink this up. Now this color, because my ink pad is inky, I do need to stamp off. And we're going to stamp this right here. Ink it up again. We'll stamp off. And then I'm going to turn it around and in the middle, I'll stamp it again. And then we'll do it one more time. And again, I'm rotating it in the other direction. And then I will stamp this over on that side like so. All right, and then I'm going to clean my stamp and I'm going to kind of repeat the process, but I'm going to do it with my Granny Apple green ink. Okay, so I'll ink this up. And again, I'm going to stamp this off as well. And we'll stamp that. We'll stamp this off. I really like how these two greens work together. They work very well. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to fill some of these white spaces in. So I'm going to add, and I'm going to let it overlap a little bit. The two colors together overlap and look really, really nice. Stamp off. And I'm going to come across like the middle to kind of fill in some of this white space here. And we'll add it right here. And we'll add just a little bit more up on the top there. Like so. Okay, so there is our background. So let me close up the granny apple green because we're done with that. But there's our background. Isn't that really pretty? I really love that. Imagine like making a card like this and using different color combinations. Like you can do like a blue and a purple or a pink and a purple. You can do the pink and blue, and then when the colors overlap, you'll get a nice purple color in there. Okay, so then I'm going to take this cluster of these little clovers, and I'm going to stamp these and kind of come down from like one corner to the other. And then I am going to just kind of fill in a little bit. Now some of this, again, what's in the middle is going to kind of be covered up with that die cut with our greeting. Kind of overlap that one a little bit. Didn't really want to do that. Let's see, let's bring in our scrap paper here. And let's just add a couple right there. So I think that's good. We'll add maybe like right up here. Okay, so there is our background piece. And we'll put that aside. And then I'm gonna we'll put that aside for a moment, and we'll fold and burnish our card base. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my this piece that we just stamped. I'm gonna add some glue to the back of this, and I'm gonna adhere it to that granny apple green piece, and then we'll glue the whole thing down to our card base. Okay, we'll center this so there's not a really big border around it, but there's enough. Okay, so there's our piece right there. And then we'll bring in our card base. Okay, and then we'll center this like so. Okay, and then we're done with our glue. And then I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Seal here. Make sure we got the card, the face in the right way. And I'm going to add some seal right here in the center. And then I'm going to bring in that seam binding ribbon again. And I'm going to zigzag this. So so this way I know how long of a piece to cut. Okay, so about there. Get my scissors. And that. And so, let's see. Kind of do this a little bit so this way they all look a bit even. Okay, and then I'm going to place this right across like so. Get it into that adhesive. And then I'm going to bring in my dimensionals. And we're going to add a few on here. Okay, and we'll center this like so. Okay, and then we're going to bring in those iridescent rhinestones. And we'll add a few on here. I'll add one here. What's nice about these rhinestones, they are clear. Is that on there? They are clear, so whatever you put these over, they're going to pick up that color from underneath. This was definitely one of those embellishments that were one of my faves, and when they went to retire them, I definitely stocked up on a few packages of these. Let me take this one, kind of bring it down a little bit. Okay, so there is, let me kind of move this stuff out of the way. There is our second card. I really love how this background came out with this one. Really, really fun. And again, this is something that you use another stamp that has some little images to it, and you can do a whole bunch of different color combinations with this. And again, this stamp right here comes from the Artistically inked stamp set. So let me bring in the first card that we made. So this one we added a little bit of the yellow or the gold along with some rainbows and of course our clover. And then we have our second one that's all about the green. So this would be perfect. I actually have a friend whose birthday is on St. Patrick's Day. So this, it doesn't say St. Patrick's Day on it, but this could be a perfect birthday card. And I think this is the one I'm going to send to her. So there are two cards for this Back Thursday using the Lucky Clover stamp set. If you like the projects, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell as well. That will let you know when I post another pre-recorded video along with when I go live on Friday nights. So this Friday, we're going to continue on, well, tomorrow night, we're going to continue on with kind of like this green theme because it's just before St. Patrick's Day, but it's not necessarily St. Patrick's. So I'm going to be using the Sweet Peas stamp set. This is a standalone stamp set that's in our annual catalog. And I do have to say, this little pea right here, he's grumpy. I am definitely going to have something with him in it because I just think he is like so cute. And of course you got a lot of other little cute images in here as well. So this I'm going to be featuring tomorrow night. I go live at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time right here on this channel. So if you would like to join us, we'd be more than happy to have you. What I do at the end of my lives, I do a card giveaway, giving away the cards that I made in that video. So be sure to join us. And if you can't, there's always the replay. I will also have more information when I do my video tomorrow. So things about my newsletter and all that. Now, all of that stuff is in the description of the video, so you're more than welcome to click on those to check anything out. But I'll go into more detail tomorrow night when I do my live. So. I thank you everyone for joining me, and I hope you like the projects, and I will see you in the next one. Have a blessed one. Bye bye.